So, Bungie was out, moved on to making Destiny as their next project, and leaving Halo with Microsoft and the new studio, 343 Industries. 343 was a company made up of Halo veterans, fans, the book writers, and new blood to help set the course for the future of Halo, which would be an incredibly rocky start for them. 343 was given a couple of tasks. 1. Begin work on what would be Halo 4. 2. Make the books fit with the games, no matter what. And 3. Make sure Halo 4's plot follows the plot of the two new book trilogies, the Forerunner trilogy and the Kilo 5 trilogy. These books basically go into what Forerunner society was like and would set up the antagonist of Halo 4. Kilo 5 would also set up the state of the galaxy after the events of Halo 3. And 343 had a lot to do, and proper development for Halo 4 wouldn't start until 2009. There was one massive problem during Halo 4's development. 343 was not allowed to contact Bungie or anyone else who had worked on Halo that wasn't a part of 343 Industries or Microsoft. This was a horrible thing to do. Yes, 343 did have veterans within it that did work on the other Halos, but not being able to contact or work with Bungie and ask about notes, ideas, and other things left behind to get context or help iron out details was a massive crowbar to 343's knees. So, with those guidelines and rules, 343 decided to stick with what Bungie had done and play it safe. Stick to what Reach set up, and go back to the basics of Halo Combat Evolved. Something that is understandable with this context, but it felt shallow gameplay-wise when compared to what came before. I am going to be perfectly honest. Halo 4 has the weakest gameplay out of all of the Halo games. That doesn't mean it's bad, far from it, but out of all of the games, it feels very cookie-cutter compared to the rest. Though it is in my firm belief that Halo 4 has the best story out of all the Halo games, bar none. Now, let's get into the state of the universe and Halo 4. So, before the events of Halo 4 truly start, the UNSC has been busy trying to rebuild after the Human Covenant War, taking the time to rebuild Earth after the invasion in 2552, and finding lost colonies. Not only that, but they started work on a new Spartan project called Spartan 4, which would be led and helped by former Spartan 2s and 3s. However, Covenant remnant forces from the war are still kicking about, and they are raiding anyone they can, whether it be each other, Arbiter and his forces, or the UNSC. One of these remnant factions, that had been supported by the Office of Naval Intelligence, started gaining notoriety led by an elite by the name of Jul Mdama. This new Covenant force isn't on the same scale as the previous Covenant, but they are enough of a threat to keep the elite civil war going and to majorly threaten UNSC forces. This leads us to the start of Halo 4, a whole 4 years after the Halo event. We cut to what remains of the Forward Unto Dawn, floating through the void of space, though something disturbs the peace as an orange wave of energy runs through the ship, disturbing Cortana and forcing her to wake up Master Chief. Once Chief is up and about, it's business as usual. Figure out what's going on and figure out where the hell we are. And after doing a small QuickTime event, which is new to Halo, we discover we aren't alone, as an elite comes out of stealth and tries to stab us. Which, the elites are looking different. In fact, all of the character models look really different, including us. So with the change from Bungie to 343, the art style would inevitably change. Now, Reach was also a massive art style change, but it was still pretty close to what the Covenant looked like from the other Halo games. But Halo 4 is such a far departure. Grunts and Jackals look like overgrown lizards, and elites for some reason have scales. Like, what? Chief is also different, and I don't like this version of Chief's armor. It feels really exposed and not put together, unlike his armor in Halo 3. As well, I don't like the tons of hexagons through the visor and undersuit. It just feels overly designed. Yeah, I can tell it's still Chief, but it's so much visual overload, I don't like it. We will get into designs later, but for now, yeah, I don't like how the Covenant and Chief look. After we clear out the observation deck of Covenant forces, we open the viewing port and see a Covenant fleet hanging around, and they are extremely unhappy to see us. A cruiser is on an intercept course to destroy or capture our ship, so it's best we use whatever weapons we have left to destroy it. As we make our way to the outside of the ship to fire the weapons, let's talk about guns quickly. Halo 4's sandbox brings back a lot of guns that Reach did away with. The battle rifle, beam rifle, and Covenant carbine, though the SMG, plasma rifle, plasma launcher, and most brute weapons do not return. UNSC guns have been retooled and rebalanced again, and we also get 3 new guns. The SAW is the first light machine gun we get in Halo, and it's my favorite gun. It's able to tear through shields and infantry without difficulty, though the trade-off is that it takes forever to reload, which is a good trade-off in my opinion because of the sheer firepower it's packing. The railgun is also a new favorite of mine. Although it has a 2-second charge-up time and fires 1 shot at a time, it is a guaranteed instant kill on a direct hit and has an AoE explosive effect. Though the AoE isn't very strong, it's still enough to cause enemies nearby the target to flinch, giving you enough time to reload and ready another shot. The sticky detonator, like the railgun, is a single-shot weapon, but it fires out a sticky grenade that sticks to any surface or target. Once stuck, you pull the trigger again, and it explodes, guaranteeing a kill on most targets that aren't the returning hunters. A decent and dangerous sidearm. Then, for Covenant weapons, we only get 1 new gun, and it replaces the plasma rifle and plasma repeater. It feels like a mix of the two, being the same size and rate of fire of the repeater, but having the damage and inability to vent heat like the plasma rifle. It's a strange gun, which just has me ask, why didn't you bring the plasma repeater or rifle over instead? There are other guns, which we will talk about when we get to them, but with all the changes to guns, one is a massive head-scratcher. Most guns have had their ammo counts reduced drastically, whether it be UNSC or Covenant. The ammo counts for most weapons are small. Hell, picking up Covenant weapons sometimes feels like the famine modifier Skull is on, but it isn't, leading to me having to play the campaign with unlimited ammo, as being stuck with barely loaded or charged weapons sucks. But, back to the story. Once we clear Covenant out of the Forward Unto Dawn, we get outside and we are orbiting a Forerunner planet. Well, worry about that later. Putting down a couple more squads of Covenant soldiers, we are able to activate and launch a missile, destroying the Covenant ship coming at us. With the destruction of the Covenant ship, we discover that it wasn't the Covenant scanning us. It was the Forerunner planet. And as soon as it's done scanning us, the planet opens up, pulling the Forward Unto Dawn, the Covenant, and us into its gravity well, leading us to our next mission, Requiem. After surviving a fall from orbit, again, we wake up at a crash site, and as we try to get more info about our situation, Cortana wigs out.
Coordinate impact data.
We have asked you to give up your family, your childhood, your future.
Cortana.
I'm sorry. It's the crash. I'm fine.
Something was wrong even before we left the Dawn.
Chief? Really? I'm fine.
Cortana.
Yeah, so it turns out Cortana isn't doing too hot. Cortana is something we call a smart AI, which means that her technological design is based on the human brain, meaning a much better AI, but at the cost of having a lifespan. Smart AIs have a 7-year lifespan, and after that time, they start to break down, which could have disastrous consequences for whatever they are plugged into. And Cortana has been operational for 8 years, meaning that she doesn't have a lot of time left. Understanding this, Chief's new goal is to get himself and Cortana home, so we can find Halsey and hopefully repair Cortana. So we get ourselves armed, find a warthog, and head towards Requiem's cartographer, so at least we can figure out where the hell we are and work off that. Though along the way, we get some garbled communications from a nearby UNSC ship called the Infinity. We also find out that the Covenant have started setting up shop here, and that they were hanging outside the planet for 3 years. So, time to get to work. Clearing them out of the way to the cartographer, we not only clear the area, but get access to equipment, which came back for Halo 4, but was changed a lot. Halo 4 has 8 equipment options, with 3 returning and 5 new ones. The returning ones are Active Camouflage, Hologram, and Jump Pack. Not much change for them, aside from small tweaks like the Jump Pack having a stronger liftoff, the Hologram doing stuff over corpses, and Camouflage putting blue dots on the radar instead of red. Otherwise, they are the same as their Reach counterparts. Now for the new ones. Promethean Vision is heat/X-ray vision. It lets you see enemies through walls and environmental effects, and that's it. It isn't much, but it's an interesting take on an equipment option. Auto Sentry creates an automatic turret that floats in the air, but otherwise is stationary. It will target the first enemy unit that comes in front of it, but will quickly lose interest when line of sight is broken. The turret can be destroyed by someone hitting it enough, or if you are killed while it's active. The Hard Light Shield finally lets the player use a shield like the Jackals get, though we can't fire guns or throw grenades while it's active, and our shields don't recharge while it's also active. You get a temporary shield that can't be destroyed, and any damage, direct or splash, is negated so long as you are facing the direction the damage is coming from. The Thruster Pack is a much better version of the Evade from Reach. Though it launches the player a much shorter distance than Evade did, it allows for much more control and won't risk throwing you off the map. It launches you in the direction you are choosing to move. Then, this one isn't in the campaign, but is available in multiplayer. The Regeneration Field. Taking the same cue as the Regenerator from Halo 3, standing in the area of effect heals any friendly unit that steps into it, but it has a second delay and doesn't recharge while under fire, making it a purely support ability after a fight. The new equipment options are decent and offer helpful options in firefights still, though some are still more useful than others. They aren't as broken as something like Armor Lock was, and Sprint has just been added back onto our normal moveset. Getting back on track, we are able to clear out local Covenant defenses and get to the cartographer, which tells us that the planet's name is Requiem. Cortana tries to isolate Infinity's signal, however after struggling with it, the cartographer shows that Infinity is inside the planet. And as we leave to go find a way to the center of the planet, a strange symbol flashes. Yeah, it's probably nothing. Fighting our way through more Covenant defenses, we are able to get into a tower that can give us access to Requiem's core. While Cortana tries to open a portal, a new threat comes out of nowhere. But before these new enemies get a chance to attack, a portal opens and we quickly get through it. This leads us to our next mission, Forerunner, and the new units Halo 4 throws at us, the Prometheans. So, while we explore the inside of Requiem, let's break down the Prometheans from their units to their weapons. First, we have the Promethean Crawler, a dog-like robot that swarms the field. They can stick to any surface and are usually equipped with the lightest guns the Prometheans field, but they can also have sniper rifles. Not only that, but if you get close, they will try to take a bite out of you. So, be aware of that. Then, there's the Promethean Watcher, a floating support unit. These annoying little bastards tend to hide away and jump out to grab thrown grenades and throw them back at you, create hard light shields to defend their allies, spawn in more crawlers or turrets, and even revive dead Promethean knights, making them a high-value target wherever they are. Promethean turrets are static beam cannons that can only be spawned in by Watchers, if they aren't already in place. They will track you and charge up their shot, but once they fire, they stop tracking and are stuck firing in that direction until it's done. So keep moving when they are around, or find cover and move after it fires. Now we get to the big guys. Promethean Knights. These guys are controversial to the Halo sandbox, and it comes down to the fact that these things are unbalanced. Promethean Knights can teleport and are invincible while they do it. They can lunge far distances and will instantly kill you on any difficulty that isn't easy, and can create Watchers, which, if you remember what Watchers do, yeah, you can see the problem here. Knights feel way too overpowered for the game, and on harder difficulties, it is more of a task to kill them than elites or even hunters. Not to mention, these big guys carry shotguns, rocket launchers, and sniper rifles, while also carrying their own version of an energy sword. So being able to teleport, be revived, and have swarms of infantry supporting them, it really makes Prometheans unfun to fight. Their weapons have also been a mixed bag. But a fun little thing is that when picking up Promethean weapons for the first time, the gun builds itself to be something familiar to the user. So a fun tidbit at least. Starting with their pistol, the bolt shot, it is, as I said, a pistol. But like the plasma pistol, you can charge it up and have it fire like a shotgun at very close range, but at the cost of firing 5 rounds. The suppressor is similar to the SMG and does about the same damage. There isn't much to say about it. It's an SMG with less shots and about as bad as a spread. The scatter shot is the shotgun for Prometheans, and has a weird property with its shots. When firing, the bullets that come out of the scatter shot bounce and ricochet, so be aware that the bullets could come back and hit you. The light rifle is an interesting weapon. It acts like a battle rifle while it is unscoped, and when it's scoped, it acts like the DMR, which is a fun mechanic, though it doesn't really do much to change the weapon's damage output. The binary rifle is the sniper rifle, and is one of the most powerful guns in the game. A headshot on most targets is a guaranteed instant kill, where the UNSC and Covenant snipers need 2 headshots to break the shields and then kill. However, to compensate for the weapon's power, it only has 2 shots per clip, and is a rare weapon drop. Then we have the incineration cannon, the rocket launcher for this group of weapons. Though it has the added effect that after it explodes, it releases 4 smaller grenades that explode after they bounce once, meaning that it's amazing for clearing out hordes and doing damage to vehicles and anyone nearby. Lastly, we have the new grenade, the pulse grenade. This little guy doesn't explode and it doesn't stick. Instead, it pops out an energy field that drains shields so long as someone's standing in it. Then, when the timer runs out for it, the bubble implodes, and anyone caught within it who doesn't have shields, or is almost out of them, is instantly killed. Definitely good for breaking up opponents or enemies who are bunched up. So, that's the Prometheans and their weapons. Though a few of the guns bring interesting and fun options to the sandbox, the Prometheans themselves do not. Again, it comes back to Knights being stupidly overpowered, and that Watchers are the most annoying thing in Halo 4. When fighting the Covenant, it's a debate on what you want to take down first, like getting the chaff out of the way so killing the elites are easier, or killing the elite causing grunts and jackals to run away. You will always aim for the Watcher first, as it's the thing that makes Knights annoying to deal with. Not a good first outing for them, honestly. Getting back to the story again, when Chief and Cortana get to the center of the planet, they find that the Infinity isn't here, meaning that Requiem, or something on Requiem, was messing with the cartographer. Though in the center of Requiem is a communications array that is protected by an energy dome, so by using that, we can probably contact the Infinity and get a bus out of here. Moving to the first generator, we get to fight our first Prometheans, and I gotta say, Halo 4 is fucking beautiful. Both the outside and inside of Requiem look amazing. Its natural side and artificial side complement each other well, much like the Halo rings we have fought on before. As well, the inside of Requiem has what looks like lava flows, but in actuality, they're data streams, and I just think it looks awesome. Honestly, the maps and set pieces are the best designs from this game. Fighting through local Promethean defenses and getting up close and personal with knights, we shut down a shield network that was stopping us from getting to the generator. Though on the way, we get another transmission from the Infinity. And to our collective horror, the ship isn't inside Requiem. It's approaching the door. The same door that pulled us and the Covenant fleet in, which means they are at massive risk of the ship being pulled apart. So getting to the Forerunner comms array is more important than ever now. Though on our way to the second generator, we see what's left of the Covenant make it inside Requiem and start heading to the second generator. Probably to secure and stop us from warning the Infinity. When we get to the area of the second generator, we see Promethean and Covenant forces fighting each other, and we can choose to either participate or run past the fighting. Heck, we even get ghosts and later banshees to help us through these firefights. Getting the second generator down, we turn off the shield protecting the comms array, but as we start heading towards it, so do the Covenant, and Cortana asks what the hell do they want with a broadcast array. And as we get there, something feels very wrong as an ominous orange orb floats there. And we all know, floating orbs are always bad things. Though we don't have time to think about it, as the Infinity is approaching the entrance. So killing whoever gets in our way, we get to the pedestal and activate it, learning that this wasn't a comms array. It was a prison. As the prison opens up, it reveals what it was holding. An ancient and deadly Forerunner, and someone who we have read about before. The Didact. Now, this was epic to see. All we have ever had of the Forerunners was Sentinels, their abandoned facilities, and the Halos. Now we get to see a Forerunner in the flesh. And not just any Forerunner, this was the Forerunner's military leader. Oh no! Yeah, the Didact story is told through the Forerunner trilogy of books. And though you don't need to read them to understand his motivation, it does help. Basically, this guy was driven insane during the Forerunner Flood War, and that insanity made him irrationally hate humans, leading to him being imprisoned for not only attempting a genocide against humanity, but going against the Forerunner's beliefs. So that should show you just how dangerous this guy is. Being freed from his prison, the Didact catches Chief and takes control over his Prometheans, changing their colors from blue to orange. I like the detail of the colors changing, as well as the Covenant bowing to the Didact, which makes sense since these Covenant forces are fanatical. With this, the Didact tosses Chief aside and takes his leave, exiting through the roof and leaving us to die. But we are a stubborn bastard, and using a ghost, Chief and Cortana are able to flee the collapsing area and into a portal that leads back to the surface. As we get back and barely stop ourselves from going over the edge, we see Infinity coming through the roof and heading to land a fair distance away, and the Didact is heading towards them, leading us to our next mission of the same name, Infinity. The mission Infinity takes us to a jungle, and here we encounter Marine squads that are getting wiped out by Promethean defenses. As we inspect the bodies of dead squads, we follow the Prometheans and dead squads to an officer named Lasky and his location, and when we catch up with him, we get a new reveal.
Afraid we're gonna have to give you an IOU on that welcome home party. Tom Lasky, first officer of the Infinity. Never thought I'd see you again.
Seal her up! I thought you'd be taller.
Yep! Seems in our 4 years of being gone, the UNSC made a new generation of Spartans. These are the Spartan 4s, and they are controversial, to say the least. In-universe, it makes sense. The Spartans were a very successful project and unit during the Human Covenant War, so it makes sense that the military would expand the project. But instead of children, like the 2s and 3s were recruited as, they used regular adult volunteers. Gameplay-wise, Spartan 4s are just the human version of elites, as they are just Marines that hit a bit harder and have energy shields. Though they wouldn't be expanded upon until the Spartan Ops campaign, which we won't be talking about here. Just know that the opinion on these guys and gals was mixed.
Oh, I'll damn you good, you filthy bug!
Why won't you love me, Dad? I'll be anything you want me to be.
I want you to be dead!
Meeting with Lasky and the Spartan 4s, we are asked to clear an evac zone for him and his Marines, as they have a lot of wounded. So we team up with the Marines and help push to the evac zone to clear it out. However, during a point where we have to wait for Cortana to open a door, she uncharacteristically snaps at us, showing that her rampancy is getting worse. To make bad news into worse news, it looks like the Prometheans and Covenant are now working together, as Knights are leading squads of Grunts and Jackals, meaning that the Didact has united the Covenant on Requiem under his command. So for a while, we will see engagements where Knights will be leading Grunts, Jackals, and Elites, but we managed to clear the landing zone, and we are then tasked to lead the Spartan 4s back to the Infinity and push the Didact's forces back. Using a Scorpion tank, we are able to get back to the Infinity and clear out the Covenant forces inside a hangar. Then we are contacted by Captain Del Rio, who informs us that the Didact is scanning the ship's computers and stealing tons of data. So he wants us to help in getting the Infinity's defenses active to stop the Didact. And to help with this, we are given the newest vehicle to Halo's sandbox, the Mantis! The Mantis is a bipedal walker that comes equipped with rapid-fire autocannon and missile launcher. Not only that, but it comes equipped with energy shields and a stomp attack. The Mantis is extremely fun to use, and is honestly one of the best additions to the Halo sandbox. And ooh boy, are we gonna abuse it! Using the Mantis, we tear through Covenant and Promethean forces all the way to one of the gun decks. There, we destroy several Covenant jammers that were messing with the guns, and after defending said guns while they reset, we are able to turn them on again and force the Didact and his forces into a retreat. After everything calms down, we are formally introduced to Captain Del Rio and reunite with Lasky and the Spartan commander Palmer. As we go over what the hell happened and what to do, Del Rio gives orders for us to attack the gravity well, keeping the Infinity trapped on Requiem. Which makes no sense, as the Infinity was able to not only defeat a Covenant fleet while it was a beached whale, but also drive the Didact off. However, Del Rio says it's final, and this leads us to our next mission, Reclaimer. Reclaimer is a slower-paced mission, as we ride around on the massive mobile base called the Mammoth. Using the Mammoth rail cannon, we are tasked to destroy several anti-air guns defending the gravity well. Though our plans are cut short, as a new Covenant vehicle comes out of nowhere. The Lich. The Lich is basically a flying scarab, and it takes out the rail cannon, but you know how the song and dance goes when a big Covenant vehicle comes out of nowhere. After that, we hit a wall, both literally and figuratively. Without the Mammoth's rail cannon, we really can't do anything about the AA guns. As well, the terrain ahead is blocked, meaning that the oversized compensator can't do jack shit. So we hop off on foot and head towards the control center, where Cortana theorizes that we can shut off the turret grid. So, fighting our way through sniper's nests and more Promethean forces, we get into the control center. Getting inside feels weird, as the place has no Promethean defenses inside it, and when we disable the turret network, something kidnaps Cortana while she's plugged in, and though we do find her deeper into the facility, we are pulled into a portal to somewhere. It's here where Halo 4 either keeps you completely invested, like it did for me, or loses you completely. Here, we meet a Forerunner, or at least an AI that has the Forerunner's memories, called the Librarian. If you remember her from my Halo 3 review, we read her messages to the Didact through the terminals, and it was heavily implied their relationship was romantic. So spill the tea, girl! The Librarian fills Chief in on the past, revealing some major story beats. Turns out, back in the day of the Forerunners, humanity was a direct rival to them, and due to some incidents, the two species went to war with one another. However, the reason why humanity was fighting so fiercely was because they were running away from the Flood.
What a twist!
Not only that, but we are also told of some of the other plans the Forerunners tried against the Flood, namely the Promethean Knights, though they were a massive downside to creating the Promethean Knights, as they needed to digitize living beings to create them, and when they tried to turn Knights back to normal, it didn't work, leading to the project being abandoned, except the Didact refused to give up. Due to events in the Forerunner books, Didact would forcefully turn ancient humans, who had long since lost the war and had been rendered an endangered species, into Promethean Knights. Didact had reasoned that humanity was dangerous, even in a Stone Age setting, and that they deserved it. He was rightfully knocked out, put on trial, and imprisoned, with the librarian hoping that his imprisonment would help him see the error of his ways.
That is the most real, authentic, hysterical laugh of my entire life, because that is not a play.
Yeah, so that was a fucking dumb decision. It only made the insane bastard even more insane. But at least we know his plan now. He plans to grab the device that turns living beings into Promethean Knights and turn every human in the galaxy into knights for his army. The Didact, however, interrupts our conversation, demanding that the librarian stop talking to us. Before we leave, though, the librarian reveals there is a way to not be turned into a Promethean Knight, and it's the only way to defeat the Didact. So Chief agrees, and he is changed. After we are done being changed, we are reunited with Cortana, who reveals that the librarian revealed the same stuff to her, but she has zero clue what has happened to us. Though we are quickly engaged by Promethean forces inside the base, we make a quick exit using a portal back to the surface, reuniting with a UNSC armored column and help them push to the gravity well and destroy it. Once we get back to the Infinity and report what happened, Del Rio tells us that we are crazy and that the Infinity is leaving. Though before we can argue further, Cortana snaps, yelling that she won't let the Infinity leave the planet, and damages the ship. Del Rio orders Lasky to remove Cortana and get her ready for termination. But before the reluctant commander can, Chief grabs the chip and tells Del Rio where he can shove it, as well as stating that we will stay behind and fight the Didact alone. Leading us to the next mission, Shutdown.
I can give you over 40,000 reasons why I know that sun isn't real. I know it because the emitter's Rayleigh effect is disproportionate to its suggested size. I know it because its stellar cycle is more symmetrical than that of an actual star. But for all that, I'll never actually know if it looks real. If it feels real. Before this is all over, promise me you'll figure out which one of us is the machine.
Yeah. Shutdown starts with this scene, and well, it's amazing. The story of Halo 4, along with the acting, the music, the sound design, and oh my god, this game is amazing when it comes to all these things. Seeing the dynamic between Chief and Cortana throughout the game is a real treat. We get to see them be jokey, have fun conversations, and show just how much they care for one another. Hell, the scene where we learn Cortana is dying, Chief actually has a voice crack with how panicked he is over it.
8 years.
AIs deteriorate after 7, Chief.
Halsey.
Chief.
We need to find Halsey.
Chief, please.
She made you. She can fix you.
I won't recover from rampancy, Chief.
If we can just get back to Earth and find Halsey, she can fix this.
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Steve Downes and Jen Taylor really put their all into these performances, and just hearing the passion Jen puts into Cortana is truly heartbreaking. As well, it shows the difference between Chief and Cortana, leading to Cortana asking Chief to please figure out which one of them is the machine when they make it through this. Though, after their small chat, Lasky comes down and reveals that he has a pelican ready for us, showing that he is on our side, but his hands are tied, and this was the best he could do to help. So we get on board, and for the first and only time in Halo, fly a Pelican ourselves in a main mission. The Pelican comes armed with an autocannon, a larger version of the Spartan laser, a Scorpion cannon, and 2 side machine gun turrets. You can only use the Scorpion cannon and the 2 side machine gun turrets in multiplayer, sadly. The Pelican also has weapon slots on either side, but you can only use once you land, containing a DMR, saw, railgun, assault rifle, and jetpack. Shutdown as a level has us fly the Pelican to 2 towers, one to disrupt the Didact's shields, and the other to hack into his comms and delay him from leaving, which are hard and brutal fights, but we managed to shut both towers down, though the Didact's defenses are still way too much, even for a heavily armored Pelican. But Cortana has an idea. Sending us to the 3rd tower, she theorizes that she can use to control the floating spires around the area to destroy the Didact's ship. Getting inside the 3rd tower, we are forced to fight more Covenant forces, including 2 hunters. But even they can't stop us! Getting to the top of the tower and plugging Cortana in, she starts the process of moving the spires, only for her to start glitching out again and causing the towers to crash into each other. She is getting worse by the minute, and our plan goes from destroying the Didact to following him. Using the tower as a jumping off point, we hitch a ride onto a Covenant Lich, leaving with the Didact, and this leads us to the mission, Composer. Arriving at the Didact's destination, we discover that the Composer, the thing the Didact uses to turn people into Prometheans, is aboard a space station that was built beside the 3rd Halo ring. So taking over the Lich, Chief tries to dock with the station, but Cortana breaks down further and crashes the Lich into the station. When we wake up, she tells us that it's like she's arguing with thousands of herself at once. Shaking it off, we get in contact with the lead scientist of the station and get a read on the situation inside the station. And it ain't good. The Covenant are slaughtering everyone in their way, so we are directed to lock down the hangars to slow Covenant reinforcements down and clear out any forces between us and the lead dock. Once we do reach the lead doctor, she shows us where the Composer is and, well, just how big it is. Realizing now that we can't just take the thing off the station, Chief decides that nuking the thing is the better solution. So while the dock gets the nuke ready for us, we take the time to reactivate the station's defenses to help with the evacuation. Once we get the defenses back online, things get out of control again, as the Covenant locate the Composer and renew their assault, leading us to having to defend the Composer while we wait for the nuke. But after a few waves, the Covenant pull back, and the dock goes quiet. So when we try to leave to find her and get the nuke, Didact just says, fuck it. Well, fuck me, I guess! With the Didact just taking the Composer, Cortana glitching out horrifically, and the station's defenses just refusing to work, the Didact uses the Composer on the station, composing everyone and knocking Chief out.
Hey, you. You're finally awake.
When Chief wakes up, we wake to a scene of dust and echoes, with Cortana on the verge of breaking down completely, scared that if we succeed and Chief survives, that they will just replace her, probably with another Cortana. Chief shuts the conversation down and tries to get Cortana back on track and get us to a broadsword strike fighter, and load the nuke on it, leading us to the final mission of Halo 4, Midnight. Using the broadsword, we catch up to the Didact's capital ship, and we ride along the ship's trenches as it goes into slipspace, since our fighter can't withstand slipspace on its own. As we fly through the trenches, the Didact contacts us, shocked that we weren't composed, and redirects his defenses to shoot us down. The trench run is a super fun mission. Yeah, sure, it's a relatively straight run, as we just avoid turrets, the ever-shifting walls of the Didact ship, and the ship's energy beams, but it really feels like you're doing a Star Wars trench run, and that's awesome. While flying through the Didact's defenses, his ship finally reaches his target, Earth. We do get in contact with the Infinity and the fleet, and now acting Captain Lasky reveals that Del Rio was relieved of duty, and now that Lasky is in charge, he orders the fleet to engage the Didact ship. After making a hole in the ship's defenses, the Infinity is able to punch a hole in the ship itself, allowing Chief and Cortana to infiltrate the Didact ship. Once we are inside, the Prometheans throw everything at us to get us out. Not only that, but Cortana is struggling to find where the Composer is, so she tells us to plug her into the ship, and she will do her best despite her breaking down. Which gets this interesting line from the Didact.
Is this the secret you've kept from me? This evolved accident.
As Cortana tries to find a way to the Composer and fights the Didact's attempts to hide it from her, we are transported all over the ship and forced to fight wave after wave of Prometheans. And this is where I need to give one last complaint about the enemies in this game, but this is genuinely my last one. For some ungodly reason, whether it comes from the Covenant or the Prometheans, this game's difficulty really comes down to just flood the room with enemies. It can be extremely overwhelming having to juggle 3 to 5 knights, multitudes of crawlers and watchers, or the Covenant just dropping in 3 squads worth of guys. This problem started back in the 3rd mission, Forerunner, when the Covenant showed up, and it only got worse from there. Remember that on harder difficulties, that enemy health, damage, and shields increase, making them much harder to kill. So imagine being trapped in a room with 5 knights who can teleport, 3 of them have instant kill weapons, can spawn in watchers to revive them, and those watchers can spawn in squads of crawlers. So yeah, you see the issue here? So yeah, expect that kind of heat for the rest of the level. If I wasn't running infinite ammo, I'd be stuck with just Promethean weapons, which, if you remember, some of them have even lower ammo counts than other guns. So this mission can be extremely annoying on harder difficulties. Eventually, Cortana is able to find the Composer and opens a portal to get us there. But the Didact has erected another shield to protect himself as he prepares the Composer. Cortana, though, has one more trick up her sleeve to deal with it, but we aren't going to like it.
I've got to do something you're not going to like.
Cortana splits off her rampant personality fragments into the system, hoping to overload the shield around the Didact and cause as much havoc as possible with said fragments. So, moving to each side of the Composer, we upload Cortana into terminals so she can split herself off even more. After we do so, at the final terminal, the shield shuts down, but the Didact is able to fire off the Composer and destroys the terminal before we can pull Cortana out of it. Unable to get Cortana back, we rush to the Composer for our final battle against the Didact, and, well...
Humanity's imprisonment is a kindness.
In that case, you won't mind if we return the favor.
Your compassion for mankind is misplaced.
I'm not doing this for mankind.
With Cortana holding the Didact down, we are able to plant a grenade onto the mad Forerunner, and the Didact, in shock from the damage, falls off the light bridge into the abyss, and we are able to activate the nuke, destroying the Composer and the Didact ship. But Cortana does one last thing. Using a hard light shield, she protects Chief from the nuke, and, well...
How?
Oh, I'm the strangest thing you've seen all day?
But if we're here...
It worked. You did it. Just like you always do.
So how do we get out of here?
I'm not coming with you this time.
What?
Most of me is down there. I only held enough back to get you off the ship.
No. That's not... We go together.
It's already done.
I am not leaving you here.
John. I've waited so long to do that.
It was my job to take care of you.
We were supposed to take care of each other. And we did.
Cortana, please. Wait.
Welcome home, John.
I'm not crying! I'm not! You're crying! Yep. Cortana dies. And as she fades away, so does the shield. Later, Chief is found by a Pelican crew, and once we are back aboard Infinity, Lasky meets with Chief, and the two have a conversation, which shows to not only Lasky, but to Chief, just how broken the poor Spartan 2 is, and just having a grim realization that no matter what, Chief is human. The game ends on this note, with a speech from Didac during his trial, and Chief returning to humanity, and finally being able to take his armor off after 4 long years. So, that was Halo 4. As I said, this game has the best story out of all of the Halo games. Its focus on Chief and Cortana is an amazing idea, and it is an amazing breakdown of who the two are. Didac is an intimidating villain who really makes Forerunners live up to their reputation, and the game's soundtrack, environmental visuals, and acting are some of the best I've seen from Halo. But, as I also said, this game is the weakest gameplay-wise. From guns feeling weaker and starving for ammo, the designs and AI of the enemies not being the best, the game's difficulty being just how much can we throw at you instead of how do we make it fair, and the Prometheans being bullshit, it really does feel like the weakest of all the Halo games when it comes to the gameplay. Not terrible, there is still fun to be had here, but comparing it to the previous games, it feels really weak and barely above the first game. Halo 4, however, wasn't done with its story mode. 343 also created a game mode called Spartan Ops, which was set 6 months after the main campaign and sets up further plots for future games. The entire game mode is a multiplayer experience where your Spartan 4, along with others, fights through missions on Requiem, and it's hit or miss, honestly. Halo 4's multiplayer, though a fun experience, was not built for a competitive experience. Halo 4 would introduce weapon loadouts and perks, much like Call of Duty had, leading to the game being directly compared to its longtime rival. Not only that, but with the game being the way it is, it never addressed a lot of the problems Reach had. Again, I got my community together, and this was our shared experience.
Calling for your butt cuz these broken fucking bots.
It's the winning strat!
Oh, I can't even remember what that was.
This is petty. This is petty. This is all petty. That's all petty. I was extremely petty.
That's how villain is.
Faster! I mean, faster! Fuck!
I am the Flash! I will reset the DC universe! I will reset the DC universe!
That is definitely something he would do. Fuck. Dang it.
Oh, Aaron.
I don't want to
Get him! Fucking get him!
Like, you follow me, my brother doesn't see you, kills me instead, and you're the one running around on radar.
Probably.
Yoink!
Bye, boss. Bye. Ow.
Oh.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Ah!
Did you really just break down a banshee to fight a man on the ground?
He's hunting me down! He's looking for me!
Campaign's gonna go.
I killed boss.
Honorable
I hate
deeds.
you with that mean. Don't get me wrong. I think we all tried to kill boss at least once today.
I've killed boss.
That side, that side, that side.
Why does everyone want to kill me? What did I do?
Just Zerg rush. That's why they were so fucking terrible.
There was nothing I could do about that. They were all right there.
The bodies just piled up.
I just watched boss get just fucking killed by a freaking hitman squad.
There was 3 of them! What the
I know,
fuck?
I was one of the 3!
Hey!
How
Purple
does
team is the
Farida not
Rhino
run
team.
him over?
Guys! Guys! We're the Rhino Party of Canada. Free beer for everyone.
Perfect.
Oh no.
Okay, then I'm working with purple. 3 beer.
Oh. as long as Guinness, then it'll be happy.
I love that.
To kill boss.
Boss? No.
Boss, yeah.
Bad boss.
Hi!
Hi, boss.
What's up?
Okay, cool.
Oh, my...
Who's in the vehicle with you?
I don't know!
Oh, you need to crash! You need to crash your vehicle!
Oh, shit, there's...
Possible.
He's stuck on the stairs. Get him. He's stuck on the stairs. Get him.
Ow! Damn it! I died finally! My death is by a teammate! Pushing me into a needler!
Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
He was stuck on the stairs. Get him.
Ow.
I just witnessed half my team get eviscerated before my very eyes. This is my Vietnam moment.
Oh, this is fantastic! I love just getting behind someone and assassinating them in the middle of a team. It feels so good.
Hold on.
Hey, what are you driving?
Friendly fire's off! On, you shit!
Oh, friendly fire is on?
What?
Well, shit, if I don't know.
Why you have to tell him that?
What? Hold on!
Why'd you tell him that it's on?
My ordnance is in the
What's gonna
fucking
happen?
ceiling!
What?
We're 50 points behind. We can still win this.
My ordnance is in the ceiling!
Let's show the boss, the boss twins. Who's
What the fuck, game?! So... Okay, I guess I'm on time limit now. So, last time we did a community night for a game, it was Space Marine 1. So, Halo 4 is going to be the last Halo review for a while. And, yeah, it's going to be Space Marine 2 all of next week. So, now what I want you guys to do, everyone look at me. Everyone look at me.
Yep.
So, I have a shield. The second this shield drops, you are all going to murder me, okay?
Yep.
Oh!
Go nuts! As soon as the shield drops.
Hey!
Ah!
Look what drops!
Wow! Crash, you are a dick.
Guys,
You are a dick.
So, with all that being said, Halo 4 was still a success, and though it had a very rocky start and shaky landing, it was still a landing. Yeah, there were a lot of complaints about humanity and the Forerunners being separate species, the Spartan 4s, and the competitive scene had already dried up just months after its release. Halo 4 was still a successful game that sold 9 million copies worldwide. That's no small feat. Now, we are going to take a break from Halo, as something else is coming, and it's going to take up probably the rest of September. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Expect a review for that by late September, early October. And if you want to watch me stream it live, join my Twitch or sub to my YouTube. I'll be playing it live for all of you to see. So until then, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join the Patreon to see videos early. Or if you want to just support me, drop me a donation at my Ko-fi. Your support helps me to keep making videos for you. See you on the front lines, Marines.